For a lot of Doctor Who fans, the lockdown tweet-alongs have been keeping them entertained and connected during the past few months. Today, I'm talking to the woman who created Doctor Who Lockdown, Emily Cook. Hello, Emily.
Hello, nice to join you.
It's great to have you here. So, for those that don't know, what is Doctor Who Lockdown?
Doctor Who Lockdown is something that has grown quite a lot, I'd say, from an initial little idea that I had. This was kind of just before we went into lockdown. I think the 17th of March, sometime around then. And I was feeling quite down, quite scared about life and how things were changing. The threat of a lockdown was quite imminent. And I just decided, being a Doctor Who fan, that it would be quite nice to watch a bit of Doctor Who just to pick myself up. And it's always nice to watch Doctor Who with other people. So I just put out a tweet and I said, I'm going to watch The Day of the Doctor on Saturday the 21st of March. If anyone would like to join me, why not join in and we can have a simultaneous viewing experience together. And that generated quite a lot of interest. Turns out lots of other Doctor Who fans were feeling the same, wanted to watch Doctor Who together. And that kind of grew into a big watch-along, tweet-along event of The Day of the Doctor. Stephen Moffat joined in on Twitter, and it was kind of from that point that I thought, this is something that we can repeat. We can do this with other episodes. We can get other people involved, other writers, other creatives, actors then started getting involved as well. So Doctor Who Lockdown is basically a series of tweet-alongs of Doctor Who episodes where fans all watch together at the same time, tweet online. And it also includes a range of additional content as well that I've been producing. And often this content complements the episodes that we're watching. So it might be a sequel to an episode or a prequel. And I'm trying to just bring in as much different talent as possible. So that's Doctor Who Lockdown in a nutshell.
That's great. So did you find that people like Stephen Moffat were approaching you, or did you have to go and ask them to join in?
With Stephen, the tweet along had got quite a lot of kind of interest online, and the Radio Times had done an article about it as well, and so that was kind of being shared around, and he picked up on that and then actually posted about it on Instagram and said, oh, this looks like a great idea, I'll be joining in. And so I think he was originally going to join in on Instagram because he wasn't on Twitter at the time, and then kind of the excitement and build up of it did bring him onto Twitter, and so he kind of picked up on it through that. And then I think, I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I think he enjoyed it and actually had a really good time and a pleasant experience on Twitter, which is a wonderful thing. And so then the next one that we did was Rose, and I was thinking, oh, I wonder, would it be pushing my luck to see if we can get Russell involved? I wonder. So I just sent Russell a message and I said, look, Stephen did it and he enjoyed it for the most part, I think. It was a positive experience. Would you be up for doing the same? And he thought about it and then came back and said, yes. So it would be rude not to. So he then did it. And then kind of after the first, it was some people have approached me and expressed an interest and said, I would like to do this, but most of the time I've been approaching people that I've been told might be up for doing it, or people that I know personally that I think would be up for doing it. So it's been a mix of the two, really. It's been a mix of the two, but I think everyone has enjoyed it, which is the main thing.
Yeah. You've even managed to get people who aren't really on Twitter involved as well, like Matt Smith and people like that. How's that come about?
Well, I've given a lot of Twitter lessons, I must say. I've taught Russell how to use Twitter. Graham Harper as well was just so brilliant at getting to grips with how to tweet and how to use hashtags. It's just been wonderful, and everyone's willingness has just been brilliant. But I didn't want the fact that some people either aren't on Twitter or weren't prepared to get a Twitter account. I didn't want that to stop them from being involved. So I was trying to think of a way around that and set up a generic Doctor Who Lockdown Twitter account that people can use as a guest and just come and use it once and then leave and kind of not come anywhere near Twitter after that. So that's been the way around that, to set up that account and people can can use it as and when. And that's allowed people like Matt Smith and David Tennant and Catherine Tate to be involved without being on the front line of Twitter, as it were.
So you've mentioned that you create additional content for each watch along. Was that always your intention to create a short piece, or was that just something that evolved?
That was definitely something that evolved. I mean, it wasn't a kind of big plan to create lots of additional content. It came about with the first tweet along, when lots of people were starting to get involved and tweeting to say they were going to watch along. And one of those people was Dan Starkey, who played Strax, obviously. And Dan is lovely. I've interviewed him before, get on really well with him. And when he posted that he'd be watching along, others posted comments saying, "Oh, I'm going to watch the cinematic intro to The Day of the Doctor that was shown in cinemas in 2013. I'm going to watch that as a lead-in to our Day of the Doctor tweet along." And I kind of read those comments and I thought, actually, why don't we make a 2020 lockdown style remake of the intro? Would that be possible? So I kind of treated it as a passing comment, and then I messaged Dan, followed it up, and I said, I was being serious. Would you be up for doing it? It's a mad idea, but I think we could do something. And he said yes, he was up for it, but we needed to check it with Stephen because it was his character, and we wanted to ask if Stephen would like to be involved. This was the day before the tweet along. It was 24 hours before the tweet along this is happening, and we messaged Stephen. We said, look, would you be happy for us to do this? He replied that evening with the script. And it was just brilliant. It was such a good script, obviously because it's Stephen Moffat. And yeah, then me and Dan spent the next morning just pulling together this Strax Saves the Day extra, and then released it as part of the tweet along. And it went down so well. And I did think, I wonder if this is something we can do every time. I didn't necessarily expect that it would be, because it was a lot of work to pull together. It is a lot of work to create this stuff. But the thing that's made it happen is the fact that with each tweet along, the various creatives that have been involved have been so up for doing something. They've kind of, I think they would have been upset if they couldn't create something new. So it's kind of become part of the template now. And yeah, the tweet alongs that I'm organising, I know there are others out there as well, but with what I do, the kind of the USP to it is having those live tweeters and having a bit of extra content.
Does that add a lot of pressure to your workload then, getting those done?
Well, I've been so busy. I mean, I'm fairly a busy person anyway. I do like to keep busy, but it is so much work. I'm working on about 5 different tweet alongs at a time, in terms of like being at different stages, trying to work out who's going to be involved and what we're going to create. It's a lot of just managing brilliant people and pulling brilliant people together and keeping on top of everything. So yeah, it has been a lot of work, but I'm not complaining about it. A, because I have brought it upon myself, and B, because it is just a pleasure to have this opportunity, really, to do something wonderful for the Doctor Who fan community.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of sort of tweets sort of saying that this is your era of Doctor Who. Is that kind of a nice thing, or is that a burden? Or
it's a really nice thing, to be honest. I'm not sure it's fully deserved. I don't know. I mean, this is not the same as show running Doctor Who.
No.
It's nowhere near the league of what those brilliant people do to actually create a full series. It's not like that at all. It's a very unique thing because we are in unique times. Trying to avoid the word unprecedented because everyone says it. We are in unique times. But yeah, it's just a real honour to know that people have kind of enjoyed it so much and hold it in such high esteem, I suppose. It's yeah, I do definitely take it as a positive thing, but it's a little overwhelming as well, I must say.
Yeah, you've mentioned that you kind of prepare in advance. Obviously, we don't know how long lockdown's going to continue. Are you just going to keep going until we're out of lockdown, or will it continue beyond?
Yes, this has actually been something that has been on my mind since we started, this whole thing of how long is this going to go on for? because I don't want it to fizzle out. I don't want the kind of quality of what we've been doing to start to dip. I also feel like it's not something that I can do forever. As lovely as it's been, and I know people have said, can we do stuff like this afterwards? Maybe we can, maybe there can be like one-offs or whatever, but there's very much, it's been so all-consuming that I wouldn't be able to sustain this in normal work. Yeah. But it's also something that I think is for lockdown. And also coming out of lockdown isn't going to be a clear-cut thing. It's going to be phased out. So I've been thinking long and hard about when to stop. I do have a plan, and I've got kind of the last lot in mind, and I know when it's going to end and what it's going to end with, and I have known that for some time. So yes, it isn't going to be a forever thing, but that's not to say there won't be like one-off specials for certain things. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, obviously we've got the 60th anniversary coming up. We could have something for that.
Could do a big special for that. Yeah, absolutely. But the other thing is, as well, is it's not just kind of my availability to keep this going, but the reason that so many people have managed to come together and get involved is because we are all in the same boat. We are all at home with kind of slightly different lives at the moment. And I can't think of any other circumstances under which we would have been able to get, for example, David Tennant and Catherine Tate on Twitter at the same time. It's a really unique thing. Yeah.
So when you're choosing which episodes, obviously you've done some anniversary sort of influenced episodes, but does finding the right hashtag influence your choice of episode?
The episode comes first. As you pointed out, the first few were The Day of the Doctor was just chosen because it's such a brilliant episode. Then we had some anniversary celebrating the debuts of the 9th Doctor with Rose, and then the 10th anniversary of the 11th Doctor with the 11th Hour. So there were reasons for picking those episodes, and I tried to pick episodes that might tie into an anniversary. But then I thought a lot about the episode choices, and they're not just episodes that I want to watch. They're really carefully considered because they have to be something that people are available to join in with, the writers and what have you, and also something that you can create something extra for. So that's kind of been my ideas behind picking the episodes. And I have tried to spread out the Doctors and do a range of different Doctors, a range of different companions. I think by the time we get to the end, we should have covered all, if not most if not all of them. So that's been behind my thinking. The hashtags, the episode choice has never been dictated by the hashtags, but I have had great fun in selecting the right hashtag to go along with it, because it's such a big part of it, such a big part of connecting people. You can be really creative with hashtags. My master's dissertation, I did a master's in linguistics, and my dissertation title was Towards the Pragmatic Typology of the Hashtag. Now it goes into a lot of technical linguisticsy stuff about language online, but I do have an interest in social media language and linguistics, and that includes hashtags. So it's been really fun to think creatively. And what was brilliant was that one of the hashtags, the Hell of a Bird hashtag, which was for Heaven Sent, that actually was trending the following day of the tweet along, and I was so confused. I thought, are people still watching the episode? What's going on? And then I did some digging around, and it turned out that bird lovers had kind of unknowingly hijacked the hashtag and started posting pictures of their favourite bird. It just tickled me so much. That is the power of a good hashtag. What other thing would bring together Doctor Who and bird lovers? I don't know.
Now, by the time everyone watches this, you'll have done 13 tweet-alongs. I know. Can you give us any hints of what's still to come?
So this is going to be after Listen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hints of what to come. Okay. Well, I can actually tell you what is coming after Listen. We have got a tweet along of An Adventure in Space and Time which is slightly different, but I thought that that would be a great way of kind of celebrating the history of the show in one go. And we've got Mark Gatiss and Sacha Dhawan going to be tweeting along with that, so that is what's to come after that. Let me think. Following that, what hints can I give? We've got another 11th Doctor episode, and we've got some more. Actually, we've got another 11th Doctor, another 10th Doctor, and more 12th Doctor as well. So I think that, I know it's vague because that covers a lot of episodes, but there's still plenty more to come, is what I'm trying to say, and plenty more extra. So we've got a really epic extra coming along with the An Adventure in Space and Time tweet along, which I've been teasing a little bit about. There should be some more teasers for that later in the week. And yeah, just lots more treats and surprises right to the very end.
Thank you very much, Emily. It's been great fun to talk to you. It's been great fun to tweet along as well with all the episodes. I hope they continue to be very successful. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for chatting with me, and I'm really glad that you've been enjoying it.